Welcome everyone to an exciting discussion on China's groundbreaking $40 billion investment in Iran's energy sector. This monumental move sparks a fascinating debate. Is it ambition or reality? This colossal investment stands as a testament to the ambitious vision of both nations, redefining the global energy landscape. China's strategic foresight in securing vital energy resources through this partnership highlights a bold step toward tangible economic collaboration. Join us as we delve deeper into the implications of this historic venture, exploring how it not only bolsters Iran's energy infrastructure, but also shapes the dynamics of global economic alliances. Stay tuned for a comprehensive analysis of this game-changing collaboration. The challenge to China's energy security in the Asian continent. China is one of the largest consumers and importers of energy in the world, especially natural gas. This country, along with Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, consumes more than 70% of the world's liquefied natural gas imports. In the interactions between China's energy security economy and Iran's energy geoeconomics from the international political point of view in the field of energy, the authorities of this country understand the importance of the role of energy in the rapid growth and development of China's national economies, while also obtaining their consumption needs from producers such as Indonesia, Malaysia, Australia, and Qatar, have started a very tight competition with other countries of this continent for the ownership of resources and energy markets in regions such as the Persian Gulf, Central Asia, the Caspian Sea, Russia, Australia, and Africa. China, which is one of the major producers and importers of oil condensates, according to the realities governing the international political economy, the intensity of the ideological attitude of Chinese communism has significantly decreased. The rulers of this country, while adjusting their positions and political behavior, have tried to establish a constructive interaction with the global economy. In this regard, while trying to encroach on the energy sources of other regions of the world, this country has started a very intensive competition in this regard with other neighbors, including Japan. In this connection, the Chinese have realized that there is a significant relationship between economic development, increase in military power, national security, and control over sea lines and coasts of this country, with access and control over energy resources. Iran's geoeconomic position in the global power equation. The country Iran has special geopolitical, geoeconomic, and geostrategic features. In terms of its central location, due to its location between the two continents of Europe and Asia, as well as its location between the countries of Central Asia and the Caucasus Basin in the north and the countries of the southern Persian Gulf Basin in the south, and located in the heart of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, the percentage of total oil reserves and global gas and energy has a unique position in transporting goods and passing energy to China. The noteworthy point is that Iran is the only oil exporter in the Middle East and a member of OPEC, which shares a common border with Central Asian countries. This situation has given Iran a double and conventional power if we combine this feature and characteristic with other elements of power. Without any exaggeration, it should be acknowledged that this country is the most powerful and stable in the political geography of the Middle East, Central Asia, the Caspian Sea, and its surrounding areas from the perspective of geopolitical components. China's $40 billion investment in Iran's energy. Ambition or reality? For years, the heads of the Islamic Republic have been promising that the deep crisis of lack of investment in the energy sector will be solved with the money of China and Russia. These promises have not only continued until today, but now they have taken on bigger dimensions. Recently, at the same time as Ebrahim Raisi's visit to Beijing, Ahmad Asadzadeh, the Deputy of International Affairs of the Ministry of Oil, said in a television interview that Iran has prepared a proposal for $40 billion of Chinese investment in Iran's oil industry chain and handed it over to the Chinese authorities. Failure to attract the necessary financial resources to maintain the production capacity of oil and gas fields and the gradual increase in production capacity in the past decades has been one of the biggest challenges for the advancement of Iran's energy industry. Chinese companies had an active presence in Iran's energy industry during the presidency of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad and under his government's Look East policy. However, most of the projects implemented by Chinese companies faced delays, and this delay, especially in joint fields, caused billions of dollars were lost to Iran's economy. The importance of expanding cooperation between Iran and China in the field of energy. A senior expert in energy economics said that Iran's proximity to important power blocks in Asia, including China, is a strategic roadmap, of course. China has continuously followed its development roadmap during the past 3 decades, and now it is in the economic literature of the world. It has become an important and exemplary phenomenon. In an interview with ISNA, Faridon Berkshly stated that during the last decade, we have always discussed the importance and position of China in the global economy, and stated, "The focus of the international economy in the 21st century will gradually shift to the Asian continent and, of course, in a wider perspective of the region. Eurasia is transferred. The 20th century was the century of America and England, or actually the Anglo-Saxon axis, and the 19th century belonged to France." According to him, since the 15th century, the countries of Portugal, Spain, Holland, etc., each had their period of authority. In the distant past, empires also spent their time in glory. Now Asia is overcoming the failures of its past centuries. Of course, this does not mean that the previous powers will disappear. The countries of the European Union and the United States will continue to play an important role. According to this senior expert in energy economics, it is important to note that China avoided any international tension and conflict for several decades on the way to reaching its economic development goals. Of course, he sometimes experienced tense relations with India, but in general, he avoided any kind of tension that would harm the development of the country. According to Berkshly, I also mentioned this so that we know that China also avoids troublesome countries in its bilateral relations. The Islamic Republic can enjoy the potential and relations with China when it does not harm other strategic goals and international relations of this country. China's strategic relations are only strategic in common interests. In complying with the principles of US sanctions against the Islamic Republic, China sometimes complies with the sanctions rules with double precision. This is an important principle in establishing and strengthening relations with Beijing. Emphasizing that China has huge financial resources, the country's foreign exchange reserves are close to $1 trillion, and it is looking for safe countries for investment all over the world, he said. In the last 15 years, the Chinese spent $500 billion in Latin America and Africa have invested. China was the first country that started investing in Afghanistan after the Taliban came to power. Therefore, we can count on China's financial capabilities. The senior expert in energy economics, stating that it is necessary in terms of technology, noted that China, like Japan and South Korea, lacked a powerful tectonic system. Chinese industries grew thanks to the investments of American and European companies. The Chinese developed their industrial and technical activities through copying. Therefore, regarding the transfer of technology, it is necessary to note that it is not reasonable to expect very advanced technologies from China. China has extensive relations with the whole world. The Chinese take and outsource projects using their strong financial capabilities. They use international companies. By stating that it is better to look at the issues of the oil, energy, and commercial industries from an economic angle, Berkshly said, "With an ideological point of view, we cannot follow development goals with great precision. Right now, China and America are going through a tense period in their relations, but in 2022, they had the highest volume of trade in the history of relations with each other. The war of balloons between Beijing and Washington is going on, but economic relations continue on their way, regardless of political issues." He stated that looking at Asia and Iran's Orientalism is a principled policy. Orientalism and Orientalism were first introduced and raised by Iran in the world, he said. The expansion and development plan of the Regional Cooperation Organization known as ECO, consisting of 13 countries in the Eurasian region, came from Iran. ECO's secretariat is in Tehran, so the idea and strategy are logical and principled, but looking at the East, minus the rest of the world, it turns upside down. The East will also avoid us. This senior expert in energy economics stated that no economy will build long-term and worthy relations with a country that is facing various conflicts and problems, and said that Iran is necessary to look to the East in terms of a roadmap. Pay attention to the path of the successful countries of the East. Asian countries as a whole have been following the path of development with GDP growth of 5–7% for years. They were stuck in difficult passages with the West. Today, the stores of European and American countries are full of artifacts from these countries. According to Berkshly, the path of Orientalism in itself does not mean the development of the national economy. Rather, it will lead to desirable and appropriate results in a balanced process. Thank you.